So we're learning verse 11. We left off at verse 11. Swapne pikim sumukite charanam bujata rajat paraga patavasa vibhushanena. We're going to talk about these first two lines. So Gurudev tells a very sweet pastime that we're going to repeat now. So he says that when Raghunath Das Goswami wrote this verse, and he was thinking about this verse, he went into deep meditation. In his meditation, he began to see a pastime. In that pastime, he saw the mood of Srimati Radhika, because he absorbed himself in his mood of being Radhika's maidservant, and the Manjaris as maidservants of Radhika are completely one at heart with her. So they completely feel her moods. So therefore, when Raghunath absorbed himself in this Manjari Bhav, meditation as a maidservant, he immediately felt Radhika's mood. And Krishna also feels this because he is Paramatma, because he is Radhika's beloved, and it's said that he is the Lord Bhava Grahi Janardana. He understands the hearts and moods of everyone. So Raghunath, Gurudev describes, he said, what did he say? That he saw that Srimati Radhika had so much love for Krishna. Her love for Krishna was boundless and depthless, like a bottomless ocean with no shore. And in that ocean of her love, there's so many different waves rising and falling continually. And he saw that she has so much love for Krishna, she feels like she wants to offer her life to Krishna again and again. So Gurudev describes that it's like she wants to offer her life to Krishna not just once, but millions and millions and millions of times. And she's offering this like a lamp in Arati. So that's Arati means, when we perform Arati to Thakurji with the lamps, this means offering our love. Rati means attraction. That's why we often hear love to be described like a flame also. So we're offering the flame of our love like our life. What is the nature of love? If we love someone dearly, we're ready to offer our life to them. So this flame symbolizes our life also. The soul is also described to be like a jyoti, like a light. Remember this verse we learned. Agni jvalate jaiche kabunahi bed. Like a spark to the fire, or like a particle of the sun connected to the sun. So that in the same way, the soul is connected to God. And offering the soul and God to love, that is bhakti. So Srimati Radhika was offering her love to Krishna like millions and millions of lamps in Arati. And then Gurudev says she was not offering directly to Krishna's face, but she was offering to his feet. Because she has so much love, she wants to serve his feet. That's because the nature of love is that if you have true love for someone, you want to serve them. And so this is symbolized by the feet, because it's called Pada Sevanam. In the process of bhakti, Pada Sevanam means serving the feet. And that includes all kinds of service. So Gurudev said Radhika was offering the Arati to Krishna's lotus feet. But then he says not to his feet, to his toe. Not to his toe, to his toenail. Not to his toenail, to the tip of the toenail. Not to the tip of the toenail, to the effulgence coming from Krishna's toenail. She was offering her love millions and millions of times. Then we made the point, we discussed how actually this seems like a mood of submissiveness, but Radhika's mood is always Vamya Bhav, very bold, and she's not submissive to Krishna. But because of the superabundance of her love, the nature of love is as much love as you have, that much humility you develop. Therefore Srimati Radhika is the most humble, because as you go from Shraddha, faith, to Prem, the topmost state of divine love, you become the most humble. So she's feeling, I'm so worthless and insignificant, and so I'm offering my life at Krishna's lotus feet. So Krishna witnessed this, and then he also felt so much gratitude to Srimati Radhika. Like he himself feels like he wants to offer his life to her. And yet seeing her mood, he feels like how much I am indebted to her. What can I do to repay this? So thinking like this, some time passed. It said then after this pastime, when Radha and Krishna performed their Naisa Leela, nighttime pastimes, after the rasa dance, after bathing in the Jamuna, after wandering in the forests and the meadows, and then they rest in the Kunj after their Kunja pastimes. So then Gurudev describes a very sweet pastime. He said in the morning when they woke, this is called Nishanta Leela. Nishanta Leela means before dawn. At that time, first slivers of the sun rays may come over the horizon and it paints the horizon pink. But Nishanta Leela starts even before that. Nishanta Leela means the border between night and day. It's the end of night, Nisha Anta. So at that time, in the Kunj, Brinda Devi arranges that the different animals will start to wake the divine couple so that they can return to their homes. Radhika Dujavad, Krishna to Nandagram, because they are having a paramour relationship to enhance the flavor of their ras. So first, the crow, the rooster begins to crow. And when he starts to crow like this, then Radha Krishna first began to wake. Radhika first begins to open her eyes. But because they don't want to leave each other, they're in each other's embrace, then she becomes very disturbed by this. And she says, oh, let that rooster go to hell. And he can crow there. And the rooster is like, I'm just doing my seva. Radhika says, let him go to hell. And he can crow and make his noise there. And then hearing this rebuke, if the Vaishnavas or Guru chastises you, then you become very quiet. So when the rooster hears, then he becomes very silent. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to leave Braj. So that time Radhika was thinking, oh, he's gone to hell and he's there. So she was like, again, closing her eyes and in Krishna's arms, resting. So it said, then after a short time, then Kakati, the female monkey, she also begins to make some noise. And when she chants, she says Jatila. And what does that mean? Jat means dreadlocks. That's one. Jat means if you have dreadlocks. And it also means, Jatila means someone who is very crooked natured. Like dreadlocks. You cannot braid or comb it, you just have to cut it off. So Jatila's nature is like that, very crooked and tangled. But Jat also means when the sun first rises and it's not up high in the sky. It's just coming through the horizon and meeting with all the trees. And so it goes through all the branches and all the trees like Jat. It also means the rising of the sun. So all these little rays are coming through all the branches. The first tinges of this, and it's Arun Varna, the color of saffron. So at that time, Radhika and Krishna began to awake. And that time we sing Mangala Arati, Mangala Nishanta Leela. We pray at that time, Vibhavareshisha Aloka Pravesha. That's the time of Mangala Arati. So at that time, when Radhika awakes, she looks around and sees that in the Kunj, all of her ornaments, her belt, her mekhala, they're all scattered around the Kunj, because at night time, Radha and Krishna are performing their Keli Vilas, their amorous pastimes. So Radhika sees this and then she says, oh Krishna, you have performed a certain type of yagya. Yagya means a certain kind of puja, worship. So, oh Krishna, you've performed the worship of Kamdev, Cupid. You've performed this Kamdev yagya. But after performing the puja, you have not cleaned the paraphernalia up. When you worship the deity with different 16 kinds of paraphernalia, you're supposed to clean up the area afterwards and put everything away in its right place. Otherwise, it's considered neglect of service, seva aparad. So she tells Krishna, oh Krishna, you have done this Kam yagya, Kamdev puja, but you have not cleaned all the paraphernalia and all the arti and trays and all the different kinds of articles. So you should quickly do this. Why, she says? Otherwise, Lalita Vishaka and the Sakis will soon come and they'll tease me and joke and laugh at me. So she says the Sakis, because if the Manjaris come, she has no shyness. She considers the Manjaris to be like extensions of her own form. She has no shyness before them. But Lalita Vishaka, she has some shyness in front of them. So as she says this, then Krishna feels very happy. He thinks, now I get a chance to do some seva to my Radhika. I get the chance to do some service. So Krishna begins to pick up, because Radhika, she has her belt, mekhala, she has her bracelets, her nose ring, earrings. But in the past meeting with Krishna, everything ultimately is removed and they have complete meeting. So Krishna begins to clean everything. At that time, Tulsi Manjari, who is Rati Manjari, Rupa Manjari, Kasturi Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, and a few of these intimate Manjaris enter the Kunj. Because Radhika said, now you should clean up everything and then you should also begin to decorate me. So at that time, Tulsi Manjari and the Rupa Manjari, they brought kumkum, parag, and all these things to decorate Srimati Radhika. And they handed them to Krishna. So by Radhika's instruction, then Krishna began to decorate her. It said in this verse, Radhika is displaying the mood of Svadina Bhartrika, which means the lover who is in control of the beloved. And therefore, this verse says Sumukhi, that Swapne Takim Sumukhi Te Charanam Bhujata. Sumukhi means she was very beautiful, whose face is very effulgent and beautiful, and who is in control of her beloved. Therefore, Raghunath calls her Sumukhi. And then Charanam Bhujata means Krishna begins to decorate her, but he starts by decorating her face. And Radhika says, while he is decorating her face, Krishna accidentally washes off or smears or removes her alta parag from her lotus feet. So she says, you should not decorate from the face to the feet, you should start at the feet. So then Krishna begins to decorate Srimati Radhika's feet with parag. The second line says, Rajat Paraga Patavasa Vibhushanena. Vibhushanena means ornament or decoration, and parag means flower pollen. You take a reddish flower pollen from certain flowers, and then you mix some different ointments with it, and it becomes like an unguent or alta, parag, that you apply on the feet, on the sole of the feet. So Krishna begins to do this, but he is so absorbed in love for Radhika, in the ecstasy of his love for her, and his emotions, bhav for her, that his hand is quivering. So at that time, Radhika says, oh, Tulsi Manjari, or Rati, who is Raghunath Das Goswami, writing this verse. Look at Krishna. He is very new. He is very junior and neophyte. He doesn't know how to do this properly, so you should show him how to do it. So it said that the Manjaris at that time began to giggle and laugh. And Tulsi Manjari came forward and she pushed Krishna aside with her elbow. Like, Krishna was sitting there doing it. She said, like, move aside. You don't know what you like. Lovingly, but like teasing him, oh, you're very junior, you don't know how to serve Radhika. They have some abhiman, that we are Radhika's dasis. So you should learn from us. This pride is good pride. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Radhika dasi jadi hoy abhiman, shigrai milai tava Gokulakan. If we have the pride of being Radhika's maidservants, then very quickly Gokula Chand, Krishna, will come within our grasp. So Tulsi Manjari came forward and nudged Krishna aside with her elbow, and then Krishna sat down. And then she began to do this. But because they continued to laugh at Krishna's expense, then Radhika said, hey, you shouldn't laugh. If some new sevak is doing something and they don't know how to do it perfectly, you shouldn't laugh at them, you should help them and assist them, encourage them. And then it said, Radhika then placed her foot on Rati Manjari's forehead. So on Radhika's foot there was this parag, Rajat Paraga Patavasa, which is liquid and it had not dried yet. And so she placed that on Tulsi Manjari's, Rati Manjari's forehead, and it became like a stamp on her forehead. At that time, after she finished decorating Radhika's lotus feet, and it said afterwards she wanted to see the stamp on her forehead. So after they serve Radha Krishna, they show them a mirror. So afterwards she also looked in the mirror, and she saw this. As she was looking in the mirror, we have to remember, at the same time, Raghunath Das Goswami is writing these verses and remembering these pastimes. So on one avesh, in one absorption or one ego, he is present as Radhika's maidservant, Rati Manjari. And in one avesh, he is present as Mahaprabhu's associate in his form of a practitioner, Raghunath. So he came back into the absorption of being Raghunath when he was looking in the mirror. And then he began to lament and cry out with this verse. And he said, Swapne Pikim Sumukhi Te Charanam Bhujata. May I see Srimati Radhika and may she give this stamp from her lotus feet on my forehead, and in this way my head will be successful. He said the head is considered the topmost limb of the body. So if Radhika puts this on my head, even if she does this in a dream, my life will be successful. Even though this happened in Braj, but he feels like now he's a sadhaka, so he doesn't realize this has happened already. He feels like he's praying and longing for this. May it happen. Kabe habe bolo. When will it happen? So he's praying to Radhika that even in a dream, may you put your lotus feet or lotus foot on my head and make my head and my life successful. So then Gurudev tells one more sweet thing. He said that, where did this parag come from? This parag means the ointment which was on Radhika's feet. So it said that when Krishna was decorating Radhika's feet, he put her feet on his chest because he wanted to serve and worship her lotus feet. Like she wanted to offer herself to Krishna's feet, actually Krishna wanted to take her feet on his heart. So Krishna took Radhika's lotus feet on his heart. And at that time, this parag came on Krishna's chest. But already there was parag on Krishna's chest from before. When Radha and Krishna were meeting and embracing before they were resting at night, then it said Radhika is always wearing the manjaris. We'll hear this in the later verses. The manjaris decorate Radhika's chest with kumkum, which is, at that time it's not wet, it's like a powder. So they have this kumkum on her chest. And when she embraced Krishna, Krishna had some pearl-like drops of perspiration on his chest. And so the kumkum from Radhika's chest mixed with this perspiration of Krishna's chest, and then it became moist, parag. And so when he took Radhika's feet on his chest, then that parag from his chest came on Radhika's lotus feet. And then later she placed that on Tulsi Manjari's forehead. So Tulsi Manjari, Rati Manjari got so much mercy. This was not just from Radhika's lotus feet, from her chest, and then to Krishna's, and then to Radhika's feet from Krishna's chest, and then on her forehead. And so that's why she's saying, when will that day come when Radhika will put her lotus feet on my forehead and my life will be successful? So we remember this verse. I think we can memorize this verse. It's a very sweet verse to memorize. Nice story Gurudev tells. Okay, we'll stop here today.